Hello and welcome to some Saturday Smite Draft League. It's premiere, it's week 5. We have Life of the Afterparty versus Guns&Sake. I'm Anthony Malum. I've got Cosmic Warrior with me. Let's get into the picks and bans.
I don't know about you, Anthony, but I'm very excited for today's premiere set. This is looking like it's gonna be a good one. We got two good teams, Guns&Sake, technically undefeated, and we got fan favorite Midman and his team. I'm excited to see this one.
Yeah, and to the note of the technically undefeated, we've got the technically looking for wins. Both of these teams kind of have had opposite routes getting to this point in the season. So this is going to be a very contested match because they've both got a lot of different things to prove. The chips are not equal on their shoulders, so kind of a weird grudge match rivalry type of game we got here.
Yeah, a lot to prove on either side, and looking into the first bans, we can see, just absolute top of the meta bans right now. The Emocha, amazing support, so much pressure with the ultimate, great healing with the Fabless Tubes, AMC, absolutely dominant Hunter in the mid lane. And just the builds right now for Hunters are so strong. We see the Daji, unshakable assassin in the jungle right now. And of course, the Hades, just so strong in the solo lane right now. Top of the meta.
Guan Yu has made it through bans and is first pick, something we have not seen really at all. He either gets banned or first picked, but lately it's been ban. What do you think about him getting through here?
Yeah, I mean, when you have there's a lot of ban options. Usually we might see Ymir get through as opposed to getting banned. Obviously, no surprise that if he does get through the first 30 bans on either side, that he's gonna get first picked. But I think all of the first 3 bans are pretty reasonable. If any, maybe the Ymir isn't as high priority. It is a high priority pick, but usually tends to get through the bans because usually you want to ban out the Guan Yu, you want to ban out the Cernunos.
Sure.
But yeah, no surprise to see Guan Yu in the first pick slot.
Not at all. And there's a Kernanos coming out, so somewhere Kingfisher is giddy. Interesting first choice, though. Haven't seen that a whole lot. But on the flip side, Neja getting locked in. Whoa, I'm going to stop everything I was getting on talking about here because we haven't seen a Soul in a while.
Soul's an interesting one, not super meta compared to a lot of these hunters. I mean, hunters are just so dominant. We've seen a lot of, 4 physical double hunter drafts, so you don't see the Soul as much. But because I'm seeing it, I'm assuming it's going to go into the duo lane, and they're going to put some sort of mid hunter in the mid lane, maybe a Charybdis, maybe something else. And I am not surprised to see that Cthulhu pick. Cthulhu has a great matchup into Guan Yu. You can cancel out the Talal Soul. You can really make the Guan Yu's life very rough in the laning stage.
Yeah, I agree. And with Premiere, it's always a toss-up on if the picks are normal picks or if everything's getting flexed. And we could see a Loki support here coming out, and I wouldn't be that shocked given how Premiere can do things. But on the other hand, there's always a chance things go more traditionally. So it's going to be a toss-up as to which it could be.
Yeah, I mean, apart from the Soul, everything is looking, hyper meta, hyper pressure, the Kabrakan, great in the support, the walls, the tremors, just absolute pressure. And, the Naja with the recent buff he's had rather. I always get that one messed up. Just very strong in the jungle, great, pressure on all sides of the map. The sashes, the ults, and team fights, just very solid picks from either side.
Yeah, and with Sasano getting banned out, that's something that we've been seeing really start to get on a quick track to being a top pick, top ban. It has gotten crazy these last couple weeks, so probably great getting that off the board with no jungler yet. On the other side for Guns&Sake, don't want to lose to Sasano. Don't want to let that through.
Yeah, Sasano, just great team fight pressure, great team fight ultimate. Huge knockups can absolutely turn the team fight. Not surprised to see him in the ban. I'm curious to see how else the Guns&Sake are trying to go here with their jungle pick. We do see the Pele ban out, another just hyper pressure assassin. Maybe we might see the Awelix. Maybe we'll see another assassin, maybe a Bastet. Ooh, the Serket pick.
The Serket pick is interesting. That's a character that we see get flexed a lot as well. So I'd be curious if there's funny business. I mean, it's not as likely given the Cthulhu being involved in things, but like I was saying, it could be really anything. But there is that potential hunter mid you were talking about in the form of Ishtar. That's also been getting a big jump up lately in playtime. So good call there from you.
Yeah, Ishtar, just the wave clear and the ultimate, very 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 strong in all phases of the game. Very good in the mid lane as well as the duo lane. So we could see either one. I'm imagining the Ishtar is going to go into the mid lane. And we might talking about the fun new business. Maybe we'll see a Cabrakan jungle with Serket support. There's no telling right now. Finishing up with the Ganesha, very good pick. I think into the Cabrakan, just being able to dash to those walls, not being too concerned, being able to silence out the tremors. I think Ganesha is a good pick here. Honestly, I think overall Ganesha is a little underrated.
Huh, and that is an honor being hovered. Will that be our final pick? Really throwing a wrench into things. It is. So we're going to have two ADCs, a Serket, and two Guardians for Guns&Sake. And not too crazy on the other side, but with that, we're going to leave you at picks and bans, and I'll be waiting for you. I'll see you in game number 1.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. Some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared I walk a straight path. Not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face.
Welcome to game number 1. We've got Life of the Afterparty. We've got Guns&Sake. We barely have any idea where anybody's going. I'm Anthony Malum. He's Cosmic Warrior. Let's do it. Hit the green buff.
Here we see the purple invade coming in a Trag. Oh.
It's going to be close. Lone Wolf going to be able to get Trag off of it, though. Not looking great so far. We'll see if the contest continues. Nuts on the way. Hog comes out. It's secured. Wasted effort here for Trag. We'll see if it turns into more. Some decent damage coming out. He's already below half. Having such a hard time getting away. He's going to be a quarter health in lane. It's going to be a tough time right from the get-go for this Cabrakan. Not where you want to be.
Yeah, that is no fun to deal with. Usually when you see these purple invades, it just lets your ADC get, higher level, gets the, the green buff and the purple buff, and that's what we see. He got the level 2 before even clearing the full wave. It's kind of the whole point, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to translate it into much pressure, just given how much damage Trag took just on that initial invade. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's unlucky for Life of the Afterparty. The dash does come out from LoneWolf, though. Burst doing quite a bit of damage. Passive up, but the body blocks slowing down the Ganesh from Control were just good enough to give Trag some time. And now everybody is looking to rotate over. Others going for Oracles. Was looking dangerous for a second. I thought maybe with the amount of pressure coming out, we might see a rotation, but none yet.
That would be an early rotation, but might see some success just given how vulnerable Trag is right now, given its HP bar. Seen some aggression here in the mid lane. Doesn't look like anything's gonna come of it though. Back in the duo lane.
Ooh, missed dash. Tough luck there for LoneWolf. Another burst thrown out. We all been there. We've all been on the other side of a soul, just throwing out her stellar burst, and it keeps hitting you nonstop, no matter how out of range you feel. Stellar burst is as bad as chalk axe. I swear I'm out of the circle every time, but every single time it hits me. Nut falling low has to get out of there, but Control cuts off Nut. There's the shell. Sun is good. Beats comes out. One basic will do it. One basic does it. Control gets the first blood. Looking for more. Snooze gets the kill onto LoneWolf. Make it 2 for Guns&Sake to start this game.
And all that pressure in the duo lane, and for what? They got first blooded. The jungler rotated over, secured the second kill on that. Not where you want to be if you're Life of the Afterparty.
Trying to get secure on the red buff too, but it got leashed in the worst way for Sehost. Guns&Sake get the red buff on the way out. Still hanging out, though. Might hang out ever so slightly too long. Trag has to use that beads to get out of there. Didn't even realize Trag had beads. It kind of caught me off guard. But they get away. We also saw a blue buff invade from the solo lane. So action across the map, as we tend to see in these Premier games.
Yeah, glad to see that this is going. You realize that the jungler was so far on the left side of the map that he was very safe to go invade that blue. So good awareness from Farries on Guan Yu. I'm glad to see that the Guns&Sake were able to translate that pressure into, the red invade, into, taking, I believe they took the smalls on the purple as well. So glad to see, these Premier guys doing what they need to do in order to maintain their pressure and get an advantage from it.
And, we see macro play matter so much in Premier, but the micro maneuvers, the tiny things that you can do to get ever so slightly an advantage tend to matter a lot, especially early. There have been times where the games have been a bloodbath, but there's been a lot of times where things have been almost as close to as passive as SPL can be. So it's really just a matter of feeling things out, getting every small victory you can to keep you and your team as ahead or as close to even as you possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, just small objectives like the Scorpion, like the invades are just so important. Playing from ahead is just such an advantage. Always the place you want to be in. Just being able to snowball, it's almost always guaranteed gonna lead to more likelihood of leading to a victory than having to play from behind. Obviously, it's not the end all be all, but
oh, Sehost is dropping so fast. It's going to take one hit, but the ultimate isn't good from Chubby. They just whiffed and made the hair on Ishtar blow around, but nothing more than that. Sehost gets away completely free there with no HP to speak of.
Yeah, Desert Fury just off the mark. Descent into Madness force out of Zombie in the solo lane.
It got close there, but he is safe for now. Gonna cost him his blue buff, though. Bad feeling for a solo, no matter what time in the game it is, to lose your blue buff.
Yeah, definitely, and that's not the first one he's lost, so feeling rough for this Cthulhu. I mean, Cthulhu and Guan Yu generally considered a better matchup for the Cthulhu, just being able to stop the Talon with Soul, being able to just, stop his wave clear and ultimately all of his pressure, so not looking good for Zombie in the solo lane here.
Yeah, and that tends to be a common theme, not necessarily just with Cthulhu solo, but with those Guardian Souls in general, as not taking quite a bit of damage. Going to be okay for now, though, thanks to Soul's free beats and Aegis. You can't build them both together, but you can play Soul, and that'll cover it for you. But those Guardian solos have a tough time, not necessarily playing the lane, but it's hard for them to get their pressure out, especially against something more traditional. So they kind of just have to play to get tanky and play to stay even, and then that's where the advantage can come from.
Interesting enough, we see the Glad Shield first item from the Guan Yu, despite going up against a magical opponent, and it doesn't seem like he's caring too much. Just the damage he receives from the Glad Shield is enough. He doesn't care that it's physical defense.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we didn't maybe see something like a Runic. I know in Premiere in particular, we've seen that a few times against Guardian solo, so maybe that could have been an interesting choice, but ooh, Snooze looking for a gank on Nut, not spotted out. Nut is very pushed out. They got to wait for the free ability. That's BGNH, as I talked about. That will be enough, though. Gonna get away for now. Snooze diving deep for it. It's a backup there. A lot of damage comes out. Supernova to cause some distance, and Snooze has to fall back. Now the pillars come out. And now this is advantage life of the Afterparty. It's kind of out of nowhere after a rough gank from Guns&Sake thanks to Soul. Blink back in from Snooze, though. Wants to commit deep. There's the ultimate. Some good damage coming out, but not quite enough. Now Snooze has to dash away. And life of the Afterparty gets to just hang out for free in duo lane. Gank him all you want. You can't quite kill him right now.
Seems like Soul had healed quite a bit. After that, they did end up ripping the beads off of the Soul, but that's about all that Guns&Sake got from that, and they sacrificed a lot from it as well.
Going back over to Gold Fury and Oracles, it looks like Control was trying to contest. It did not quite go very easy. Had to be careful with the health advantage there too. Things are kind of calming down though, so as they calm down, let me ask you, do you expect the mids to be the difference here, or do you expect it to be more so ADCs? You look in a jungle. Who do you think is going to be the difference maker in this game?
Honestly, I think, me personally, I think the biggest difference makers are going to be the solo laners. I think solo laners just really strong right now. Cavalry Charge, Descent into Madness, both great teamfight ultimates. I feel like whichever one's going to be able to maintain the pressure in their lane, whoever's going to be able to rotate to teamfights earlier, is ever going to be able to have a bigger impact in these teamfights, is ultimately going to be the biggest difference maker here in the Premier League.
Committing hard for this red buff in the back. Midman blinks in for the pillars came out, but nothing was quite cleared up. Now Snooze has a really good setup here. Neja ultimate brings Snooze into the air, comes back down. Not crazy follow-up, though, because your mid isn't on her. No big circles to speak of. Although the fight is starting to separate. Trag off to the side. Now Midman finds himself caught out. Gonna be impaled. Going to be executed. Falls down. Now stuck in the walls is Sehost, but again, nobody's there to follow it up. Trag now is the one falling low in between three members. His jungle and his mid cannot bail him out. They're going to leave and just leave their support to die. It's really tough to be a support sometimes.
I mean, there we see the Guan Yu being able to rotate, making that difference maker, getting that pick back. Even more aggression coming out here in the mid lane.
Snooze looked to be caught out for a second, but thanks to all the movement of Cirquet, was able to get out for free. Although Nut is dropping low and quickly has to use Supernova. One basic could do it, but he's got to hit it. Doesn't need a basic. He has Polymorph Control. Solos Nut.
Man, I thought the minions were going to absolutely rob him of that kill, but nah, it didn't matter. He still had that ult. He was waiting for it. He was patient, and it paid off very well for ChubbyOstrich.
That's always such a tough spot to be into. Getting caught out like that without your disapparate up on a soul is never a good feeling whatsoever. You feel so caught. Kind of like ChubbyOstrich might feel caught. Gonna have to jump, but jumps to the red buff. Ring bounce for the slow, but due to the stun from Trag, ChubbyOstrich gets to walk away for now.
Able to secure their red buff, you know, again, just these micro objectives, these buffs, all gonna make the big difference makers. Ooh, big initiation.
Wow, huge damage on ChubbyOstrich. Has to use the purification beads combined with the jump to get away. Gonna be safe for now though. Snooze trying to see if he can pick up Midman, but Midman's just dancing, saying hello, wondering what he's doing after the set. Gonna walk away is Snooze, gonna walk away is Midman, and the jungles decide not to duke it out right now. They're gonna look to the Greater Scorpion. Just a little dance between the jungles, no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see how Snoozism performs on this circuit. So far, it seems like he's been trying to get aggressive and has seen some success in it. But I feel like if you're going to pick something like the circuit, you need to prove that, you know, this has been a worthwhile pick. I picked this for a reason. There's going to be something that I can find with this pick. Otherwise, I just don't see why you would pick that over some of the other meta assassins right now.
Yeah, we were actually thinking there was a small chance it could have been even a flex pick and something to kind of throw Life of the Afterparty off the trail. It was not, but like you said, it's all going to come down to how it plays out. And is it something you want to continue into the next game? Thankfully, this is game 1. So if things don't go great, not the end of the world, but so far they're going okay for Guns&Sake.
Judging by the build pass of the Circuit, she's actually going for more of a hybrid, so that's interesting. I feel like, you know, if that's something you want to do, Circuit is actually one of the options if you're thinking hybrid assassins, you know, Fenrir, Circuit, those are the ones that come to mind. So maybe that's the idea that Guns&Sake and Snoozism want to go for. So again, we'll just have to see how that plays out.
It was a party in the duo lane. The life of the after party were not invited until late. They're here, but is it too late? A lot of damage onto LoneWolfFTW, though, back from the side with the re-engage. LoneWolf solo stuck behind the walls. Somebody get LoneWolf out. They do not. She falls down to Trag. Looks like it's going to be the only kill for now. Farries is here from the TP, but I'm not sure how much they can do. They might look to force this fight, though, on the backs of the Guan Yu. And they will. Guan Yu goes in, instantly gets CC'd out. Midman with the blink in, though, looking for Snoozism. Can't quite find it, dropping fast. Farries goes into the back, off on the side. Midman and Sehost are low. ChubbyOstrich, though, fell even lower. Sehost picks up the kill onto the on her, but health bars are falling quick for life of the after party, and now everybody's split up. Cthulhu Ultimate comes out. Nut, Midman go one way. Farries and Sehost go another. Nut gets caught up by Snoozism. Control kills Nut, Zombie kills Sehost, and everybody's falling for life of the after party. It looked like that teleport might be a huge play for life of the after party, but really it just led to some deaths, and now potentially losing the Gold Fury.
I mean, as soon as we saw the Cthulhu come in with the Descent into Madness, we saw a huge shift of the pace, and it's not ended yet.
Midman goes on control, but the purification beads were up, and that's enough for Midman to die. Now it's a 4-on-2 for this Gold Fury. Pillars, though, almost got a kill for the Ganesh. Not quite enough. Trag got out. But life of the after party, despite losing so many members in that bloodbath, they were able to keep the Gold Fury from getting taken. So at the end of it, not too bad of a situation for life of the after party.
They still ended up losing, I think, 4 members over the entire duration of that very extended team fight, so it's still not the greatest part. Guns&Sake still walking out with the gold lead, so I don't think they're too upset by it. Obviously, ideally, they do end up getting the Gold Fury with all of that pressure, but, you know, it just took so long, I think, for the Cthulhu to rotate that by the time they tried to go for the Gold Fury, Ganesha, Lone Wolf was already back up into that fight, and yeah, I think it just took too long. Again, I think looking at these solo laner rotations and how they're impacting the team fight, and I think, as I was saying, that's going to be the biggest difference maker here.
So talk me through here with the Soul. We're seeing a kind of a falling behind already. The build is very power-centric so far. Do you think that this is a situation where the Soul is getting bullied out early and making the pick not worth it? Or do you think, hold that thought, Midman, Snoozism run into each other, Midman takes Snooze into the air. He was dropping low though, but everybody's here, and Sehost with the cleanup onto Snooze. He falls, and now we've got a real fight over here out of nowhere, really. Pillars come out just to cause some separation. Farries looking for the engage onto Chubby, can't quite find it. Trag was there for the defense. Zombie though caught a bit off. Can't quite chase it though. Farries has to go the other way, and everybody's going to be safe for now. So I think you have time to answer, just to reiterate. Do you think this Soul is too far behind? Do you think there's a chance she shows up late and makes a big difference?
I mean, Soul is 0-3, but then again, Soul is Soul. In the late game, she's going to hurt no matter what. She's not found the complete stacks in a Book of Thoth, and you know, if it's anything like the Souls that we've seen in the SPL, you know, your Barracudas, then, you know, as soon as that Book of Thoth gets stacked and gets a couple more items online, these early deaths aren't going to matter too much. But if Guns&Sake are able to keep up this pressure, find the objectives that so far they haven't been able to find too well, then maybe they'll end this game before the Soul has made a difference. I think CtrlAltIEat has done a very good job at shutting her down. The ganks as well from Snoozism, even putting the Soul at 0-3. That's not a great place to be on a Soul, which accelerates so well from the lead.
So if you're a Life of the Afterparty fan, you heard it. Keep an eye on that Soul if you can get to late game. So far, things aren't looking too bad, but Guns&Sake definitely are trying to keep their foot on the gas pedal. It just depends how fast the car can go, really.
Yeah, we've seen, you know, good answer backs, good preventing objective plays from Guns&Sake, the extended team fights, the early rotations from the Guan Yu, preventing that sort of thing, preventing the the team fights from ending too quickly in favor of Guns&Sake. So if Farries is able to maintain this pressure, keep out rotating Cthulhu, maybe we will be able to see Life of the After Party extend this into a 30 plus minute game, and we'll see this Soul absolutely jump up in the damage numbers and run away with this game.
Well, clearly you don't have dinner plans if that's what you're looking for. But yeah, that's how these premier games can go. It really depends on the objective secured late, how much you can shut down the carries late, and if there's any base defense from the other team. A lot of these premier teams are so good at defending. Control, though, trying to simply stay alive at this point, but doing so much damage to Nut. Gets brought up into the air, though, by Midman. That's going to be enough for the kill, but Chubby and Trag are here, and Soul's use to Saporate is long gone at this point. Midman uses the beads to get away. Pillars come out onto Chubby, but only Farries is here for the follow-up. They re-engage a bit slow from Life of the After Party. They had fallen all the way back to almost a tower. Snooze dashes in, but can't find much onto the two tanks. And Mid hasn't rotated yet for Life of the After Party. Solo's coming slow from Guns&Sake. This could be a bit of a delayed fight, but everybody's going to be around. Interesting to see where this might go. Some fighting breaks out by the Gold Fury. It's on to Zombie, who stepped just ever so slightly too far. Lone Wolf a bit caught out, but Farries right there. Pillar comes out just to obstruct our view a little bit from this potential fight. Farries trying to find some kind of way to engage here for Life of the After Party. Midman follows up with the blink. Sash onto Chubby, jumps away. Farries diving deep for it, but in the back, Snooze is the one getting lit up. Shell comes out. Farries does find the kill onto ChubbyOstrich. Gets a double kill onto Snoozism and manages to stay alive from it despite the Cthulhu ultimate underneath the tower. Life of the After Party, in what felt like an awkward fight, managed to turn into something strong, and the question is, can they get away, as the three remaining members of Guns&Sake are still hanging out in the jungle.
Yeah, I feel like just the initiation from Farries was just in time. CtrlAltIEat did get picked right at the very beginning there, and they knew that there was going to be just a timer until he runs back, and Farries wanted to get into there before it happened, and he did get in there, escaped on 1 HP, did end up getting another 2 picks. Very good for the Life of the After Party, but again, neither team really being able to have enough pressure, get enough picks, and win a strong enough team fight to get this Gold Fury. So, this is going to be looking like it's going to be extended to a bit of a longer game just due to the lack of objective play from either side. So, maybe we will see this Soul come up top, finally finish stacking the Book of Thoth. Going to be able to do a lot more damage. Finally, you see the Gold Fury getting pulled, but Guns&Sake are right here ready for it. See how this one
Guns&Sake contest in time. Trag trying to get in. Supernova comes out. Life of the After Party does get the Gold Fury, and Guns&Sake really couldn't even contest because Trag got blocked out from it. Tough break for Guns&Sake there, and Life of the After Party starting to ever so slightly get control of this game, kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, good looks from Life of the After Party.
Whoa, that Sash took so much damage. Ultimate from Midman on the Snooze. Enough follow-up, though, is going to be the question, as 2 members are there, and it will not be. So really just a damage check for Midman. Nothing quite more.
Yeah, forcing Snooze in the back. Maybe they want to go for a Pyromancer, force a fight around the Fire Giant. Doesn't look like that's what they're going to go for. Ooh, actually, Pyro getting pulled by Guns&Sake. Lone Wolf does spot it out. Does he have the Dharmic Pillars to contest? He does. Will it mean anything?
Ooh, they brought it in. Got to be careful. Life of the After Party gets the Pyromancer. Trag falling low. Might go alongside that Pyromancer. He does. Sehost takes credit for the kill. Tough break there to walk the Pyromancer right into the pillars. Kind of helping out Lone Wolf there and padding some stats.
Yeah, if you're a Guns&Sake fan, that is a really tragic moment. I mean, they're burning it, but they weren't burning it fast enough. Like I said, Lone Wolf had sniffed it out, initiated with the pillars, so Midman blinked right in. Just really good answer from the Life of the Party. Really showing that despite that they were down a little bit, they're able to answer back when it comes to the important things, the big objectives.
Big one-on-one brawl here between Control and Nut. Tier 1 tower falls. Nut could not quite defend it. Didn't want to body block the autos, but lost a tower in the process. Back in the mid lane, ChubbyOstrich took a lot of damage, down to half health. Lone Wolf, though, looking about the same. So Sehost and Lone Wolf are going to go do some buffs and try to take things easy for a minute or two. let the calluses in their fingers relax, and we have a moment to talk builds and what to look for as we're hitting minute 20.
Yeah, I mean, just reflecting on that 1v1, you know, the tier 1 tower isn't the biggest thing, but when you're trying to farm up as an ADC, it can be a little annoying just not having that safety net back there. Looking at these builds, we see the oboes coming in second from this on her, not something you see typically, but just because usually on her you want a little more power, but you know he just followed up right with the XCs, so I don't think it's making too much of a difference. Oboe, just a very strong item, the passive on it, the attack speed, certainly nothing wrong there. We do see Ishtar going for the crit build, something I definitely prefer on Ishtar just because the 3 can crit when you build crit, and obviously the anti-heal crit item, just probably the best path.
Yeah, Shuriken has been
for
great.
anti-heal.
Ooh, Snooze though might have gotten caught out with Sehost, but is Sehost the one who's caught out? There comes the wall, and there's the ultimate from ChubbyOstrich. Gets a kill on a Sehost. Midman takes control into the air, trying to buy some time. LoneWolf is here for the defensive midman. Ring toss for some toxicity on the way out. Farries are on the side. Once again, slightly trying to a little bit late, trying to make things happen, having a tough time doing it. It kind of looks like Farries is going to be the initiator for Life of the Afterparty, the fire starter, so to speak, but it constantly looks like Guns&Sake do a great job of separating Farries from the rest of his team.
I mean, Cavalry Charge is just such a great initiation tool. The CC immunity, the damage, the stun. If, you know, Miniman's able to follow up on that with the sash into a wait and fire wheels, you know, you're looking at a pretty good team fight. But yeah, as you said, Guns&Sake are doing a pretty good job at answering back. The walls from Trag, really good at canceling the cavalry charge, the one thing that would be able to stop it. So, you know, just we're gonna have to see how this translates into these later fights, into these, you know, fire giant dances that we tend to see, and just it's going to be determined on how the rest of these fights go and ultimately how the game goes.
We are taking a look at the player damage charts here. Is there anything that sticks out to you? Because there is a couple small things that do pop out to me.
Yeah, it does look like, you know, this Circuit damage a little bit low. We see him having what does it look like coming up on 3 defensive items. So, you know, obviously that's probably why we're having such low damage coming out of the Circuit. We're going to see if that's going to end up, you know, being how Guns&Sake want to play this, the more of a game of attrition in these team fights, having the tankier jungler as opposed to the, you know, the high burst like the Najat is building. We do see the Magi's cloak, but that's about it just for the CC immunity. But yeah, I mean, three tank items isn't something that's very typical on the jungler. So yeah, just again looking at this circuit, just seeing how it's panning out, seeing how they're gonna utilize this.
Definitely looks like they're leaning on their 2 ADCs to carry the damage. Everybody else went tanky. Farries goes in trying to set up once again, but once again, Guns&Sake do a great job of just shutting it down and saying, hang on, Farries, we don't want to fight, so we're not fighting. They just back up under their tower, and Farries can't commit any further at the moment. That's been the story so far for Life of the Afterparty. We do have a 5-on-5 group at the Oni Fury here at 24 minutes. Snooze is going around the back, trying to see if there's a pick there. Nothing yet. Taunt no good. Blink from midman. Sash no good in response. Going to be enough to separate them for now. It's really just a matter of who's going to be the one to commit first. The oracles are pulled by Life of the Afterparty. That's enough for some decent damage to come out. Here comes the cavalry charge. There goes the supernova. Cthulhu's up into his ultimate. Everybody is pressing their ultimate, but there's still no kills on the board from this fight. Everybody's getting low for Guns&Sake, and quickly, Midman gets the first kill of this fight, picks up Trag on the Kabrakan. But that's all for now. They're going to look at the pull of the Oni Fury, but Guns&Sake have completely disengaged. Snooze is once again looking around the back. Zombie and Control are checking out the front, but the Fury's already dead, and they couldn't even contest. Tough break there for Guns&Sake. They were just too low to re-engage that fight.
A really interesting grouping and fight from both teams. Usually when I think about a 5-man grouping around an objective at 25 minutes, I'm looking at the Fire Giant, not necessarily the Oni Fury. But I mean, still an objective. The only way is still undeniably going to be a lot of pressure. Maybe that's going to be the pressure that the life of the after party want in order to get the fire giant, and then maybe extend that into pushing some towers. Maybe if they can get a trebuchet up by then, that'll certainly help them. But yeah, really interesting fight. It ended after only one death, and then they just ultimately decided to drop the Oni Fury. Maybe they decided that it just wasn't worth it. It's only an Oni Fury. It's not something like the FG. If they're
For
down,
sure.
no point in fighting. So I think that was a good call by Guns&Sake. Not losing as much as if it were a Fire Giant fight, as I was saying. But yeah, we'll look to see how Life of the After Party extends this into the Fire Giant fight, which is going to be coming out really soon.
Pyromancer getting pulled. Pyromancer dropping fast. Pyromancer died. Very sneaky pyro there from Guns&Sake. And now Life of the After Party trying to see what they can get off of the pyro falling. ChubbyOstrich had to jump out of there. Supernova, or not, that was not Supernova. That was the Ishtar ability baiting me. Gonna delete that character after this game. Very upset about that bait. I feel personally attacked. My family is disowning me, and it is really just all Sehost fault. So thanks for that one.
Yeah, that's tragic. We'll have to talk to Sehost about that one after the game. Looking at a tier 1 tower push, just trying to get these small objectives, these easy objectives, one that's not putting too much of a risk for Life of the After Party, but still giving them a little bit of map space, giving them a little bit of gold in their pocket, just to, work around this Fire Giant fight.
It is impressive how long both teams have been 5-man grouped. It feels like they haven't separated for a while. Fire Giant getting pulled from Life of the After Party. They were tired of hanging out and dancing, and look how fast it's dropping. It's down to a quarter, but Guns&Sake's here. Cthulhu Ultimate comes out. Supernova for the secure, but it wasn't dead yet. Life of the After Party does pick it up. They were able to secure it after all. But look at their health bars. The damage is being returned from Guns&Sake. Was it worth it? Let's find out. Guns&Sake still healthy, though. Pushed everybody away. Life of the After Party just looking to retreat and get away with their victory. Snooze, though, with the blink, only can find Lone Wolf, cannot find the damage onto Nut. Sehost had to fall back, too, so couldn't do anything to defend, but what does it matter at this point? Guns&Sake are all alive, but they couldn't do anything to get any kills on After Party to punish the Fire Giant, and we're still dancing around.
Yeah, I'm sure Life of the After Party is very happy with that. They end up getting the Fire Giant, and they end up getting a clean retreat, able to fully reset and come back with the Fury, or with the Fire, rather. And, looking to push these tier 2s, looking to maybe see if they can get some of these cups to get to Trebuchet. I was talking about maybe even go for a little milking action on the obelisk. We'll see how they translate this above, how they translate the pressure that they created. And it does look like they are, immediately going to be grouping up, going for the very low, very vulnerable tier 1. You're talking about how impressive it was, how long they've been 5-man grouping. I want to talk about how impressive it is that this tier 1 tower on the left lane is still standing at 28 minutes. I mean, absolute hair health. I mean, I can't be more than 50, 80 health or something like that. Probably less.
Yeah. They can really just body block it, and it'll probably fall. But it does look like Guns&Sake want to at least consider a tier 2 defense. Not full committing, obviously. Tier 2s are never quite that worth it, but we have seen some hard throws by teams at tier 2s before. Farries did have Snoozism out, but Snooze has a bubble and some safety of his team around the corner, so no committing from Farries. Although setting up in the back is Farries. Trying to start tanking it is Life of the After Party. They want to start attacking this tower, but the ADCs haven't fully committed. Trebuchet just got here, so here comes the commitment. Farries in the back doing work with that charge, but nobody was home after all. He had to fall back. So Guan Yu ult for nothing. Tier 2 down, heading to mid lane. Kind of a good spot for Guns&Sake at the moment, having that Guan Yu ultimate down.
Yeah, I'm sure Life of the After Party not to have subbed themselves. Ostrich having to fall back to defend the Trebuchet.
Ooh, sorry to interrupt you, Cosmic, but
No
Cthulhu
problem.
just pressed his Blink Relic and he's in deep. Has to back up quick. Ultimate so big we can never see. Big 3-man knockup, but there's no follow-up. Guns&Sake is playing behind the tower, so they can't quite get in for any kills. Don't want to overcommit just for a tier 2, but at what point is it worth it to try to go for the kill? Snooze once again looking around the side, trying to see what he can make happen. Nothing quite there. Tier 2 down to a quarter. Guns&Sake give it up. Let's play the same song on repeat. Farries has ultimate again, not just killed Snooze. Snooze walked ever so slightly too far and paid the price. Chubby just got deleted in the back. Midman gets credit for the kill. Phoenix falls. Life of the Afterparty stepping on the gas, and they're stepping hard. Sehost kills Trag. 2 on 5 for the defense. Can Guns&Sake hold on? Ultimate from Midman. Takes control into the sky. He dies on landing. Titan at half. Zombies alone. Cthulhu might be big, but the team fights of Life of the Afterparty are just that much bigger. They take game 1.
Yeah, really, really interesting game. If I'm Guns&Sake right now, I'm thinking ultimately we need to take a different approach with this jungle. The triple defense circuit wasn't really doing enough, and also I feel like the Cthulhu just needed to get a little bit more active. Had he have rotated earlier, been more active, used his ult a little bit more effectively, then it would have made a big difference for Guns&Sake. There were points in the early game where they were looking quite ahead. They were looking like they might be able to get some objectives, but ultimately it was life of the after party at every single objective, securing them, being able to find the pressure, find the picks that they need to, and ultimately, I think that's why Life of the After Party run away with this game.
Yeah, I think you said it best. I think for game 2, if we saw for a while, we didn't directly speak about it, but we saw the XP and the gold charts on screen for a while. And the story of the game was up until about 20 minutes, it was a basically dead even game. And then Life of the Afterparty started slowly pulling away. And then after a couple big fights, they skyrocketed to a huge lead. So the game wasn't out of the hands of Guns&Sake until around 25-ish minutes onward. It really felt even, but the big difference, like you said, was that jungle. So maybe as opposed to what Fish and I have harped on Midman on for a while, going for a more traditional assassin jungle just to try to take things simple and slow things down, maybe Guns&Sake needs to do the opposite. Maybe they need to pull out something a little crazy in the jungle, see if they can mix things up. But these are all questions that will be answered in Picks and Bans and in game number 2. So we'll be right back on the Smite Draft League Week 5.
Taking shots at the enemy, I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a need to take the noose off. And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as
The story of game number 1 was jungle versus team. Game number 2 will be much of the same, different. Let's find out. I'm Anthony Malum. He's Cosmic Warrior. Let's pick, let's ban.
Let's see how Guns&Sake change up the draft. Maybe go for a more traditional style assassin, one with a lot more damage, as opposed to this sort of tanky hybrid assassin they went for that they didn't see much success with in game 1. Maybe they'll be able to turn around game number 2 and bring us to a game number 3. But we'll have to see right here, right now, in the Smite Draft League.
I do want to make one player note. The Captain Zombie has backed out, and Slayer is back in, who has consistently performed out of his mind in the SDL. So very excited to see Slayer get back in there.
We'll see if he is going to be the difference maker. Starting off with the bans, again, we see very similar bans to game 1, just hyper pressure, hyper meta bans from both sides. The Daji, the Powwow, so strong. The River's Rebuke, the healing from Fabulous Tubes and everything from Yamoja, no surprises there. We do see the Najah ban. Mid-man on the Najah was looking very, very strong, very, very high pressure, high gank potential pick here. No surprise to see that one banned out.
Agreed. The Najah was strong, but I want to go back to a point you made right away. We talked about the character pick of Serket, but we didn't talk about the build. The gameplay was definitely there from the Serket, and it was great, but the damage just was not there as a follow-up. It kind of felt lacking behind, and the stats really backed that up. So interested to see if we'll see a different build, maybe same type of character selection, or if we see a different approach all around. But with that being said, we do see Guan Yu taken away from Farries and going the way of Guns&Sake this time.
Yeah, that's really solid pick. Farries was looking very good on it, but besides that, just very high in the meta, great build path. So no surprise to see that instead of using that in one of their bans, they decided to pick it out for themselves and see how they're going to be able to use it. Maybe we'll see them. We'll see Slayer being able to use that. Yeah, he's just a little weird name.
No, you're totally okay.
Especially with the swap and everything.
S's, man, it's always the letter S.
And the swap, I was like, none of these names look like who was playing in the solo last game.
We do see the Sasano come out, though, and we talked about it in game number 1. Sasano is a character that is just skyrocketing to the top of picks and bans charts, no matter if it's the highest of pro league games or the lowest of paper plastic in-houses. Sasano is just being so treasured right now. So really excited. I'm assuming it's going to go to the jungle. I mean, it'd be weird to see it go anywhere else, even solo for a flex or something. But I'm excited to see Midman pilot it. Haven't gotten to see him a lot on more traditional assassins, and with how good Sasano has been, this could be a scary selection here.
Yeah, the 100-0 potential on Sasano is no joke. His burst is absolutely insane. But in response, we do see the Cupid. The Fields of Love is going to put quite the damper into the capabilities of the Sasano. Preventing his teleport, preventing his dash, sort of preventing the auto attack cancels with the Fields of Love. So we'll see how Midman handles around that and see how they utilize Cupid in these team fights.
I do like the Soul being picked up again. We were kind of, we were putting a lot of pressure on it in the beginning, but what we didn't give it credit for was showing up in the end. Exactly what we talked about. The objective damage, the tower Phoenix damage at the end, it was all crazy, and it made big differences. And the player numbers were there too. So I'm excited to see it not only selected again, but selected against this Cupid. I feel like Soul has a decent matchup into Cupid. It could always be the Kernanos, and then this could be a type of tactic to throw off Guns&Sake, but assuming it does go to the duo lane again, it's a decent matchup for Soul, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean, the Sapray being able to dodge the Heart Bomb. And I'm not sure, actually, if Sapray, the cast time it takes is shorter than the heart bomb explode time.
You kind of got to mega mind it, but
I think it might be just a little bit longer, but we'll see about that. Hopefully we'll see that the soul doesn't end up dying, doesn't end up getting picked as much, and we'll see a lot more value out of it. But there was undeniable value in the late game, in the team fights, the objective secures, the tower pushing, everything you just said, and more.
we see the Khepri come out. Khepri is always an interesting character to talk about because what we've seen consistently this season is Khepri be counterpicked by executes. Back in the olden days of Smite, when we really just had Ao Kuang and Thanatos, it wasn't always a necessity to counterpick Khepri, but with all the execute options you have, you kind of got to go for it now. Achilles being a big one, and there is a lack of a solo lane right now for Life of the Afterparty, and I do not see an Achilles ban, so I'm curious if that might be picked up here.
And Achilles, furthermore, is really good into Guan Yu. The stun, being able to cancel out the Talal Assault. Again,
Is that an afro?
that is, but yeah, I'm assuming that was troll.
All right.
I was just trying to ignore that one. Just like
That felt like when Weekend hovered Loki at Worlds. That threw my entire brain for a loop. I feel like there's drool coming out of the side of my mouth. I didn't really know what to cast there.
I was we were just waiting for them to swap off. That was a bait hover.
Might get an Odin into the game though. That'd always be interesting. Oh,
maybe we'll see some 667 action.
Switches to the Poseidon though. No mind made up yet, so kind of hard to see where this is gonna go. Poseidon gets locked in instead of Tsukuyomi coming out. It is. It gets locked in. So different pick. Nobody's gonna build tank Tsukuyomi. I don't think so. That might be exactly what we were looking for.
So Tsukuyomi's interesting.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. See, on one hand, your carries not being able to build both beads and Aegis. Most of the time they opt for the beads, so it's going to get great value out of it. But also Tsukuyomi, you usually want to build beads and Aegis, but he's not going to be able to do that himself, so he'll probably just go for the traditional blink.
Amazing team comps coming out from both sides. Who will be able to get the advantage? Let's find out. We'll see you in game number 2. Look pretty when you meet me there.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display, on repeat in your brain. till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. When you feel low, you can still go. Go, when you feel slow, you can still go. Go, when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. When you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can
Game number 2. Will Slayer on jungle be the difference? I'm Anthony Malum. He's Cosmic Warrior. Let's do it.
Yeah, excited to see, what sort of difference the Slayer makes here on this jungle. Hopefully going for more, the traditional all damage style. See how this purple invades goes for Trag here on the other side of the map. If he's able to seal it away, if they're going to be able to secure it with the Hand of the Gods. Let's keep an eye on this one.
Had a tough time in the first game. Does not get it here either. Tough break for Trag. 2 games in a row goes for the invade. Neither time it works out. Tough break, but good attempt. We always respect the invade.
At least he's not, like 1 HP this time. So that's a
true.
plus.
But with that invade, they are going to lose pressure on the first wave, which we saw last time too. But last time he was much lower to make the difference here. So I don't expect to see any brawling in the duo. Tsukiyomi poking around solo, but nothing committing there yet. Sano looking around the back of mid, though. Will Chubby get caught out? Sasano does not have the pull, so Chubby is safe for now. Some quick action, though. Everybody looks like they're trying to make a play happen. Those plays just weren't quite there.
Yeah, maybe just going for some poke. Looked like they were going for the totem secure early on. here in the duo lane, just fighting over that scepter. Looks like it does go away like to the Afterparty. So it's a little bit more pressure, maybe resulting from that initial invade that Trag had attempted.
Oh no, first blood! Sehost gets it. Guns&Sake were trying to turn things around to start this game, has not quite gone that way yet. Snooze might be able to pick up Farries here, but it will take a misplay from the Achilles, which we will not see. He'll play it safe under tower, or will he? Some good damage comes out. Play it safe. Tower shot. Not gonna lock on. Good break for Snooze there.
We do see Farries. Aggression from the Geb, knock up. No, nothing too impactful, nothing coming from it really. We see Snooze, or Farries rather. Man, I keep interrupting because I think something's gonna happen.
I know, it's really tough, especially early on. You never know who's gonna fully commit to the fights in these lanes. Life of the Afterparty, though, really getting some good advantage here in the duo lane. Trag just being that one level behind makes such a difference early on. You can really feel it in support when you do fall behind. Blue Invade comes out from Guns&Sake, though, and they get it. Tough break for Farries, but he's jumping away. Looks unfazed by it for now.
Yeah, so, as I was trying to say, Farries does opt for the blue stone, really good for clear, really good for damage in the late game. But I also really like the axe pickup on Achilles. It's really easy to proc with your shield bash, with your stun, just given how far the range is on it. But, blue stone is just blue stone. Great sustain. Really good damage for wave clear, really good damage if you want to upgrade that into the brooch into the late game. So, there's value on either side. And it does look like he is going to go into the Soul Eater on the Achilles, which I do like. So he is going to have some of that stain as opposed to the axe health swing.
Back over to the duo lane. We keep peeking over. It keeps looking like Life of the Afterparty could have an opportunity, but they haven't quite committed full to the pressure or the chase. But there's also been no jungle rotations yet. We saw that very early in game number 1. So a bit more safety this time in the duo lane. Probably a nice change of pace for both sides.
Yeah, I think that was a different jungler that did the very early gank into the duo lane. Might be why we're not seeing it. Maybe they're just finding more value in taking back cams, maybe securing the totem, which undeniably, adds up to a lot of value. And honestly, that mana sustain is so nice. So nice.
Agreed, and it looks like the totem is going to go the way of Guns&Sake, so just like you talked about, there's those micro secures. ChubbyOstrich, though, in the mid lane, gets soloed by Sehost, barely alive, but a kill to his name nonetheless.
Honestly, this is just a hunter diff. I mean, being in the mid lane in the early game as a mage against a hunter, it's just so rough. The auto attacks do so much damage, so much wave clear. It's having a rough time, and ChubbyOstrich just feeling the full brunt of that.
Yeah, it's tough to get away with that. We talked about how it feels. There are moments where it can be worse. We saw that a couple of times with the On Her, where it looked like they just didn't quite have the correct amount of follow-up for the Neja, especially early on. But the Carninos, bit of a different pick, has a bit more follow-up. Obviously not a Neja on the jungle, but overall it feels more like the type of pick you'd expect to see in mid. On Her has its moments as mid, but overall, I like the CERN pick just a bit more.
Yeah, much more securable lockdown. You just throw out the Bramble. You don't have to worry about hitting your pillar or hitting a wall. So just really easy pressure, really good poke and kill potential as well. We saw the Scorpion invade coming out of Guns&Sake. I like that they're getting active, answering back for the kills in the mid lane. Ooh, big rotations.
Very interesting amount of players over here very early on. Aggression was on Snooze at first. He's away for now. Trag is now the one in the front. Slayer takes quite a bit of damage, has to back up. Geb ultimate comes out, but no follow-up yet. Here comes the Cav charge. Only going to find Lone Wolf, though. Polymorph in the back. Execute good onto Trag. Slayer's low on one side. Execute still up. Tsukiyomi ultimate to get around it. Kraken comes out, though! Double kill for Farries. Kill for ChubbyOstrich. Snooze is the next one on the chopping block, but gets away. Completely safe for now. Very well done there by ChubbyOstrich.
Yeah, big team fight right here, just for what seemed to be only that Scorpion, a little bit of jungle invade as well. We saw, the Achilles with the double kill. We saw the value of that execute, why we saw it getting picked up at all. but the answer back by ChubbyOstrich with the Kraken, beautifully placed, putting him back on the board, getting him back in the game a little bit. So I have to see if he's able to keep up that momentum. Unfortunately, ultimately, Guns&Sake were the big losers in that fight. Life at the after party, being able to just get these micro objectives, getting these scorpions, getting these invades, ultimately going to give them an advantage that they're going to be able to translate into these gold furies, into the pyros, and then eventually into the fire giants. We saw last game that they had no trouble, even when they didn't have a great advantage of getting these objectives, whereas Guns&Sake might have struggled despite having the advantage.
Yeah, I completely agree. Not to take away your analysis thunder on builds here, there's one thing that I noticed right away. The Soul has gone Bancroft's first, and last time it was a slightly different approach early on. I like the Bancrofts a lot, especially on Soul, and I feel like there hasn't been as much rotation over there this time, but I feel like the Soul's been a much better spot, much healthier. Last time, around this time, Soul already had 1 to 2 deaths. By halfway through, there was 3 deaths, and while Life of the Afterparty won, the Soul presence wasn't felt until the end. So if Nut can get up there a little bit earlier this time, even just farming and keeping with the Cupid, I think the Soul could be very dangerous once those rotations start coming out from the duo lane. Solo lane, Farries has to use the ultimate to get away. Tsukiyomi ultimate going to follow under the tower. Damage coming out quick. Is the assault enough? There's the stun. Now Snooze is stuck under tower. Farries still alive. Farries almost walked onto the spikes, but gets to live. Well played there by Farries, staying alive against all of the odds.
Yeah, almost walked on the spikes and then almost died to the Crusher proc. That would have been really, really tragic for Farries. But yeah, talking more about the Soul, maybe just valuing the sustain a little bit more. Didn't like that she was being caught out so much. Does look like Cupid is able to, maintain that pressure against Soul despite this.
Hang on there. We've got a gank and Solo, but not quite enough damage there. Maybe Midman was expecting a little more damage to come out, but wasn't quite there. Basic attack trades going on by the purple buff. Control going for the invade. Nobody's coming yet, but Control's backing off. Lone Wolf showed up on a ward, and that was more than enough for Control to get out of there. Nice rotation there by Lone Wolf. Not obviously, nobody walks in a ward on purpose, but just that slight sign of pressure. It would have been a committal if Control hadn't walked away. So just ever aware of the map can be such a difference maker for a support.
Absolutely, I agree. I can't help but feel like maybe if Midman would have charged that ultimate up a little bit longer, I would have been able to get the knockup. But maybe he just felt like there's no way they're killing that. Go on you. Might as well not waste the time to send out the ult. Go back to farming. So.
Oh, tough break there for Control. Heart Bomb was no good. Nut got the back off. No gank from Slayer, but I respect the effort.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I respect just the committal to the back by Soul. I do that a lot. I lazy back and I commit to it, and a lot of the times it works, but when it doesn't, it is really tragic. But always fun to watch.
Yeah, sometimes backing, just not pulling up the item screen can be enough for your confidence level for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't look like too much is going to be going on. Maybe 3-man rotation onto this Cupid, or are they just going for the jungle camps, the red buff? Not too much going on the map right now. I'm sure both teams.
Yeah, it's tough.
Both teams are looking for this gold fury eventually. They just need to find the opening, waiting for either team to step out of position. Maybe looking for gank potential, looking to set up the wards before they want to commit to anything.
Both of these teams have shown that they have great decision-making, great shot calling in the majority of their games played this season. But when you go against a team that also has that going on, there's a lot of time of just standing around talking in your comms about, like, do we want to hit Pyro? Do we want to hit Gold? What are we doing? Do we want to gank? The decision right now is to get away from Farries, who's doing numbers on Chubby and Slayer. The cavalry was coming, but it wasn't quite in time, so they cannot commit to the 4v4 fight. Instead, they're going to commit to the Pyromancer, and with the Achilles playing defense, Life of the Afterparty secures the Pyromancer at 10 minutes. More used to seeing a Gold Fury at this time, but the Pyromancer was the priority this time, and it worked out. Another purple invade. This time it's clean for Control. He knew where everybody was on the map. Gets the purple buff away from the Soul. So we won't call it a 1-for-1 Pyro to purple, but at least the duo lane showing some signs of activity.
Yeah, showing good awareness of the map, man. Yeah, no one's gonna be able to come gank me on this purple buff. I'm out pressuring the soul. I'm gonna be able to get it. Ooh, pull in by Trag under the tower.
Not
Not
quite enough
enough
damage, but I Kepris are always scary when they pull you in like that, so just showing you can do it might be enough to sway Sehost away for a little while.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do. That pole doesn't go super far, and you gotta kind of pivot it. So usually you only end up ever getting one, unless they're like right on the tower line. But you know, a little bit of poke, you know, always feels good when you're the Kepri. You know, being able to utilize that to get more damage, and otherwise a very low damage god.
So I'll play Ho Yi, you play Kepri, and we can both bring protractors, and we'll win duo lane.
All right, bet. Dude. I'll just tape it right onto my screen.
Midman goes on Slayer, finding some decent damage. Chubby's here. Defense not going to work as well as it did last time. The ultimate wasn't enough. Lone Wolf was going for the chase, but Trag was here to protect the Tsukuyomi. Throwing the spikes for good measure, and no kill there for Life of the Afterparty, despite the big commitment there. And Guns&Sake are doing a great job of disengaging from their fights. A lot of them, they pivot behind Trag on that Kepri and use him to play defense, and it's been working great pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, Trag has been doing a very good job of peel. Right now, if I'm Life of the Afterparty, I'm trying to beta fight on this gold period. You know, they're feeling strong, and looks like that's exactly what they're going to be doing. But they have to watch out for this Kraken that might
Down
come right in.
Here comes the Kraken. Is it in time? It is! Guns&Sake gets the steal behind the Kraken. The execute, though, is good. How many return kills can Life of the Afterparty find? Farries goes on to control. Lone Wolf is here, too, trying to help out. Kepri ult down, though. Execute was gone. Trag got control away. Snooze onto Lone Wolf falling fast. Midman on Slayer gets the kill. Slayer falls. 5-on-3 now. Advantage Life of the Afterparty. Their health bars are rough, though, so some members have to back away. Might be able to chase this kill onto Snooze, but they got to play it safe. There's the ultimate from Sasano, but not enough follow-up quite yet. They're still looking for it. Farries is leading the way. They might chase this this Guan Yu all the way back to solo lane. Trag comes from behind and persuades Midman to go the other way, and the chase of Snoozism has finally stopped after about 2 minutes past the fight being over.
Yeah, good use of the knockup immunity on the Telo so to avoid the Susano ult knockup, but I think it might have not been charged up long enough. Just barely got hit at the very tip of the end, but you know, just good understanding, good knowledge by Snoozism. So ultimately on that Gold Fury fight, Guns&Sake do get it, but it was a good answer.
Oh, solo Farries gets Snoozism in the solo lane. The police are here, though, in the form of Slayer and Trag, but Farries level 14. It might take a bit of time to get this kill off, as we're seeing. They're rolling their faces across their keyboards, and no kill yet. ChubbyOstrich on the way, trying to help out. Level 13 might do some more damage. Tsukuyomi ultimate committed. They finally kill Farries. Slayer is the one who gets the stat pad. Took a lot to get the return kill, but they did get it after the solo.
Yeah, he was quite a way out of position. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Chubby just got absolutely blown up between Sehost and Lone Wolf. Trag has to play it safe. Will do it, gets away, but tough luck there for ChubbyOstrich, taking the wrong way back to mid lane.
It's not the position you want to be in when you're on this Poseidon, but you know, honestly, for a second there, I thought we were going to watch that Achilles get away with absolute murder, but eventually they do find the answer back. But unfortunately, as you said, taking the wrong path back to mid, ultimately ends up to ChubbyOstrich getting picked, and the tier 1 tower going down as well. And I believe Life of the Afterparty also ended up securing the Greater Scorpion. So just good plays by Life of the Afterparty, good awareness, good understanding of how they want to react, given the game state, given the positioning of Guns&Sake, getting every little advantage that they can, all of the micro objectives and the big objectives as far as towers are concerned. So yeah, Life of the Afterparty, despite unfortunately, you know, 50-50ing against a Kraken on the Gold Fury, not something you really ever want to do, still just doesn't really matter. They are able to maintain quite a bit of a gold lead right now, and this is going to be a bit of a comeback for Guns&Sake if they want to end up winning this and taking us to a game 3.
Taking a look at the graphs here, bit of the same story, but actually exactly the same story, just about 5 minutes earlier than last game. It was pretty much even the whole game. Around 20 minutes started to pivot the way of Life of the Afterparty. This time it took about 15. Midman blinks in, looking for Trag. Farries here, Lone Wolf here. Cracking off from the side, Sehost killed ChubbyOstrich. Sehost gets a double kill onto Trag. Slayer's got to get out of there or it'll be a triple, and they're going to pull the Pyromancer. Life of the Afterparty. They want their first official win. They want everything to go right. They are not playing around today. And Guns&Sake at this point, while not too behind, if they want to maintain that perfect record, no matter how they got the perfect record, they got to start stepping up. Fire Giant getting pulled. It's already at half health. Nobody's sniffed it out. Slayer finally sees it. Snooze sees it too. Down to 10%. It's gone. Life of the Afterparty secures the Fire Giant. Frenzy popped. It's for Guns&Sake. I could not tell there. Nut gets a big kill on the Tsukiyomi. And Guns&Sake at this point, they just got to retreat. Some decent damage, though, coming out on Farries, but Control committed too much to that damage onto Farries, and Farries makes him pay. Finds a big kill onto the Cupid, and now the towers are just going to start to crumble like dominoes. This is Life of the Afterparty's game here at 17 minutes.
Yeah, it was really well played by Life of the Afterparty. They went for the safe pyro, then realized that when no one was around, the only person nearby was getting zoned out. They went for the Fire Giant, and they got it. And they're returning his pressure.
Wow, that was a gutsy teleport. Farries makes him pay with the execute. You cannot CtrlAltIEat and execute. Counter picks are real. And the Achilles picks up the kill on the Snoozism. Another one for Farries, make it 6. Now the Phoenix Siege begins at 17 minutes. Life of the Afterparty is not playing around today. Phoenix is going to fall quickly. Chubby does shut down Sehost, though, but will it be enough for the defense? Chubby falls to Farries. The Fire Giant's putting in work. Everybody's healed up quite a bit. Only Midman's low. The root hits only Farries, so Slayer can't follow up to kill Midman. They're going to chase Life of the Afterparty out for now, but Afterparty is going crazy in this game.
Yeah, they have about an 8,000 gold lead. Looking at if you're a Life of the Afterparty fan, you are
player damage numbers.
You are very happy. My goodness, absolute raid boss Achilles right now. I mean, yeah, as you said, playing Capri into Achilles is so hard. Not only because he uses execute, now it's down, and I can ult the next person. No. That's not how it works. He's got it again. He can use it for his whole team if he wanted to. So yeah, very, very unfortunate counter pick. Very good choice on the Achilles, working out very well for them right now. And I mean, just after that Fire Giant fight, we saw Slayer try to go for the steal. He gets picked out. That one I understand, but just the trickle in by Guns&Sake. Cupid getting caught out afterwards. Snoozism with a very, very bold teleport ended up getting picked, getting executed through the Capriole, as we were just mentioning. Poseidon was able to trade out one for his life, but ultimately, Life of the Afterparty, they're able to get quite a few kills after the Fire Giant. They got the Pyromancer. Looks like they're going for the Primal Fury, just absolutely pushing forward on the gas pedal with the momentum that they've created.
Smart move by Guns&Sake to push out the right lane. It will buy them some time, but they do got to be ever aware of the map. There is always a chance Life of the Afterparty decides to run it down. They are committing to the duo lane for now. How far is this going to get pushed? Tier 2 getting pulled by Guns&Sake. Tier 2 from Life of the Afterparty. The backs are beginning. I thought for a second Guns&Sake might commit to a very questionable base race, but they are backing. Will they get to the Phoenix in time? The Phoenix Siege begins. It's dropping so fast. We talked about a double ADC. Frenzy out from Guns&Sake. Fields to left to follow. No kill yet. Sehost is the only one that's low. Big damage from the Sasana ultimate. Not kill Slayer. Midman kills ChubbyOstrich. Execute from Farries on a Trag. Guns&Sake are dropping so fast. Control might be the next one. He is called a double kill for Nut. Only Guan Yu is left alive to defend this Titan. Can it be enough? I don't quite think so. He's going to do everything he can, trying to do any kind of stall tactic in the book. Look at me, I got bandanas up my sleeves. Somebody pay attention to Snooze. Nobody's doing it. Life of the Afterparty has their first victory.
What a set. What a performance by Life of the Afterparty. I mean, wow. Just at all stages of the game, they look absolutely unshakable. They push forward with their momentum. They got the Gold Furies. They got the Fire Giants. They got the Phoenixes. As you're saying, very questionable choice to push the tier 2, which ultimately ended up to that Phoenix getting absolutely shredded by this double ADC comp, then pushing forward the piercing moonlight from the Tsukiyomi, ultimately leading to his very, very quick demise, and a very, very quick demise as well for the Titan of Guns&Sake. I mean, wow, just absolute incredible performance here from Life of the Afterparty today in both games. Just even when Guns&Sake were ahead in the first game, they weren't able to do what Life of the Afterparty was able to do. They were able to just control the map state, control the objectives, control all of the valuable power plays on the map, and ultimately that led to a very, very quick victory in game 2 and a victory in game 1 as well, closing out today's set. I mean, wow, great performance by Life of the Afterparty.
Credit where credit is due. Midman went off on Susano, but Farries went even harder on that Achilles, was a borderline raid boss. There has been a lot of stuff that we have pointed out about Life of the Afterparty this entire season. And they had some victories, but they had tough lucks with FFs and so on and so forth. But this game, this set, they showed up and showed exactly the Life of the Afterparty everybody's been looking for. Guns&Sake didn't go down without a fight, but today Life of the Afterparty just showed up, and they showed up in a big, big way.
Yeah, I mean, just comparing the damage numbers, Life of the Afterparty is so much higher. Over 10,000 compared from the highest damage on Guns&Sake to Life of the Afterparty. I mean, just yeah, that game was not looking very good for Guns&Sake at any stage. Life of the Afterparty, great Achilles pick. Honestly, I think that was the absolute steal of the draft. I mean, picking the
Yeah.
Capri and not banning out the Achilles or just not respecting it was the fatal flaw by Guns&Sake, I think. I mean, 8-2, 24k damage, the most damage by at least 10,000 gold. About just wow, incredible pick, incredibly strong performance. Even stronger. He was even stronger on this Achilles than he was on Guan Yu, which is considered a much more meta pick right now. So yeah, really going to show that meta doesn't always mean is not always the end all be all.
I was quite ready for an outro, but I just want to give a shout out. It was mentioned in Twitch chat by our cameraman here, Nooblet, but can we talk about 10,000 player damage from Cupid and how difficult that is to pull off? I mean, that's the most incredible part of this game. I'm at a point where I don't even care the Life of the Afterparty won. My real winner is Control for hitting 10k even damage.
That's not something that happens very often. I mean, it's not something you can even easily try to do. So yeah, that's a very, very funny thing that happened.
But with that, you heard me mention Twitch, so make sure you follow the Twitch because there could be games tonight, there could be games tomorrow. There's games all the time with the Smite Draft League. Same thing with the YouTube. If you want to be in those games, make sure you join the Discord. Season 2 is just around the corner, and we're going to need players for Season 2. But with that, this has been the Smite Draft League Week 5 premiere. I've been Anthony Malum. I had Cosmic Warrior with me, and we had Nooblet on production. We'll see you next time.